Hey, I'm Dustin.
And I'm International Style Boy Steve. Yeah! Welcome back to the Wedding Photo Hangover Podcast, the finest phototainment in the world. We are an irreverent look at photography. This podcast, like aspirin, will help you recover from your wedding hangover. Hey, mate.
Hello, Steven.
I saw in our Facebook group, it was recommended that we use accents the entire time that we're talking on this show.
Well, what they don't realize, Steven, is that we actually typically do the podcast in what some may refer to as a slang American accent. And by actually removing said accent from the podcast, we'll be actually reverting to our natural tonalities, Steven.
Yes, and I can't imagine what it would be like for people to hear us speaking like this all of the time, Dustin. I think we should probably go back to our slang American accents, what people know and love.
But, Steven, in order to get to the slang American accents, one must drink an exorbitant amount of alcohol.
Oh, grip it and rip it, baby. Come on, what you got over there? Let's do some beer talk. What you drinking?
Tonight, Steven, I'm drinking a Metazoa Brewing Company. Metazoa.
You've talked about this brewery like 20 freaking times on this podcast. You love their little peanut butter beer, but you can't pronounce the name. You can't pronounce the name?
Nope.
Mitochondria Brewery here in Indianapolis.
Metamorphosis Brewery, and
pretty certain that's a real brewery somewhere else.
Drinking their cream ale tonight.
Very nice. How is it? Going down smooth?
Creamy delicious, my friend. Creamy delicious. How about you, Steven? What are you drinking?
Oh my gosh.
What are you?
Nope. You asked.
Not drinking anything?
I didn't have to go through like some crazy thing where I try to like force you to ask, you don't, and then I'm just like, thanks for asking it when you didn't ask.
I was hoping tonight would be the night you're not actually drinking anything.
Well, Dustin, what do you know? Tonight, I am drinking a Coke with bourbon, a bourbon and Coke. But you might ask, what else was that? You heard a beer can open. That's right. I am also drinking an 18th Street Brewery Rubicon. It's a West Coast style India Pale Ale, and let me tell you, it's delicious. It's delicious. It's like got that smooth hop flavor. You know, I'm all about those smooth hops now. Mm-hmm. Dustin, my man. We got some follow-up.
Followed up.
Sony has jumped on the camera as a webcam bandwagon. Last episode I said I was uncertain if Sony had done this yet. I could only say for certain that Canon and Fujifilm, and we were talking about it last week because Nikon jumped on board too. Turns out Sony hadn't done it yet. They actually did it the day after we recorded. Jumped right on that bandwagon.
They're avid listeners of the show.
Making me look like an idiot one day out. Oh, if they had just done it a day earlier when I was like, oh, I think Sony's done it too, I would have been right. Not wrong. But yeah, now Sony's got it too. Everybody wants to get those Disslers working as webcams.
Those Misslers, actually. Mirrorless.
What the hell are you doing right now?
What do you mean?
For people who can't see, because you're not watching the video, because most people don't, let's be honest, Dustin is like laying back on a sofa with his arms up, pit stains showing, just super pleased and happy with himself. It's crazy. Forgive me, those are not pit stains. That was a shadow. I'm sorry to have spoken ill about your armpit area.
This is the microphone. Probably in my armpit.
Yes. Yeah, it was the mic shadow.
Yeah. No, I got a new 27-inch iMac this evening, courtesy of Apple.
It came in. Wait, Apple just sent it to you?
Yeah, one of my sponsors. My AA sponsor. AA sponsor.
That was not a good joke. That was a very bad joke.
And
I was laughing at you, not with you on that one, just so you know, because it was so bad.
As long as they keep sending computers.
What is the AA? Is it Appleholics Anonymous?
Yeah, exactly. Appleholics Anonymous. especially when that stock splits here in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I bought the new 27-inch 2020 iMac on the brink of probably a newer, better version coming out here in a couple months. So
yeah, baby. Yeah, I love it.
So
Get in. It's probably good because when they transition over to ARM, that first ARM computer probably not going to be like the best ARM computer that they put out. Like the next year we'll probably see a significant improvement. That's just typically when somebody like changes form factor. It's like give them like a year or two before you jump in.
Not me. I bought the first iPhone, first iPad, first
So
Apple Watch.
You're a few months away from getting a 21.5-inch ARM iMac.
I know, right? Probably not. I'll probably
because I don't think they're gonna have a 27-inch till next year. I'm just talking on my ass now.
So. But I could not wait. I mean, and I don't know if Apple sends out a virus on the day you receive your new computer, but literally
like they do with the phones.
Yeah, literally my doorbell rang, new iMac shows up, and I'm like, I'm so busy, I don't have time to boot this up till tonight. And then Lightroom starts like shutting down on me.
So when you said to me, this is the exact same setup as I use every week, I just moved it to a different room, you were lying because now you're on a new computer.
No, this is my old computer.
You're on the old computer still.
Yes. If I was on my new computer, you'd be getting 1080p webcam.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah. But you're getting that 720p crispy.
So crisp. Yeah. Usually when you go up in resolution, it gets softer and less crisp. You are correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Somebody said to me online, talking about the iPhone thing we did. Yeah, but how big will those photos print? I don't know if I can take many more of those comments, Dustin. I don't know if I can take many more of those comments. Let's move into topics, baby.
Topic us up, Steven.
Aldrich Minson, our very own Facebook group, wrote, and I bumped this up to topics because I felt like it was more important than a normal question.
Yeah.
Sorry, people ask normal questions.
Yeah.
Wow. Am I just like that being
asshole?
a dick energy tonight? Yeah, asshole energy? Got it, yeah.
I was trying to talk Luke into podcasting with you, and he was like, I've got a positive vibe going on tonight, and I don't really want negativity.
Was Luke at your house?
He was, and then I kicked him out so I could talk to you.
Oh, thanks, buddy. So Aldrich writes, I've been seeing this a ton in a local photography group. And then in all caps, he writes, need an associate photographer for the following days. : Must be an experienced lead shooter with whatever camera brand they prefer. Comment with a link to your website and your go-to coffee order. It feels a little dishonest, Aldrich says, to the client that they are booking someone because they like their work and brand. And then they are turning around an open call to a Facebook group.
What are you talking about, Aldrich?
Aldrich says, my idea of an associate photographer is not that. Also, you're just going to trust your brand image to someone you presumably haven't worked with before? What do you guys think?
Aldrich, they're literally asking for their coffee order. Maybe that's exactly what they use to match up the brides. So the brides, when they answer the questionnaire online, they say like what kind of coffee they want, and then they're like, okay, we need a double shot kind of photographer, we need a skinny latte kind of lady, or we need that bold blonde roast kind of fella.
I'm more of a sweet cream nitro cold brew myself. Where do you fit in on that scale, Dustin?
I'm more of like an ice cold refresher.
Ooh, the mango dragon fruit refresher?
With like the strawberry acai lemonade.
Oh, no. Why would you do that? No.
Yeah, with coconut milk.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. No,
I was kind of there with you. Jen gets the mango dragon fruit refresher with coconut water, not milk.
Steve, I'm pro dragon, so I would never partake in the harm of dragons.
Fruit. Dragon's fruit.
Why would I steal the dragon's fruit? That just seems really petty. It's the dragon's fruit. It's the dragon's fruit, not my fruit, not Steve's fruit. The dragon's fruit.
You make a great point. So,
yeah, I'm just saying, if we're gonna be stealing fruit, why the hell would I steal a dragon's fruit?
So, your idea of an associate photographer, Dustin, what is that? Because I know you work with associates.
Associates. So yeah, my idea of an associate is sort of a go-to trusty person that you can rely on to shoot weddings when you are already booked. But like people commented in the group, we are in a very ridiculously crazy year where people are rescheduling, rebooking, and photographers like myself don't want to give up on that revenue, baby. So they are looking to people to shoot those weddings. So they're not like, sorry, you can't shoot your wedding. Or some other people made some great comments that some photographers might be immunocompromised. Aldrich, you asshole. Why didn't you think of that? I sure didn't. Didn't think of that.
Going hard in the paint on Aldrich here.
And
Aldrich's a loyal listener. He's a Patreon member, and you're gonna do this to him right now?
Yeah, because I felt like that comment also hit me because I was like, yeah, why would you hire an associate like that? And I was like, oh, I'm an asshole because there might be photographers out there that are, can't shoot weddings during this virus because they would literally kill them or their loved ones. And so, yeah, they've got to hire an associate so that they can still pay their mortgage, because even after you pay an associate like $100 an hour or $75, $50 an hour, depending on what your going rate is, and you still maybe make $1,500, $2,000 buckaroos. What's your hot take on this, Steve?
My hot take is this. Aldrich, if you're upset with Dustin and you want to make sure he doesn't get any of your Patreon money anymore, meet me on onlyfans.com. It'll be a lot of me doing things you don't want to see, but that's a way to make sure the money just goes to me and not to me and Dustin.
I really hope you have an OnlyFans account.
Also, Aldrich, if you want to make sure the money just goes to just me after what Dustin said, you could just stay on the Patreon.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Should I start an OnlyFans? Is that what I'm hearing from you? Would you?
Styleboy Steve Van Elk should be your account name.
I feel like that's my TikTok, right? That's gotta
be consistent. Consistent. Like, here's my TikTok, but for those that follow me on TikTok that want to see a little more.
Well, Dustin, all I can say is I'm glad you took the reasonable side on this, because I wanted to take the asshole side. I'm with Aldrich on this. Well, WTF, people. WTF. Well, there's a pandemic, and I didn't want to lose this wedding, so I guess I'll just randomly ask in a Facebook group if anybody is available as an associate photographer. I think for me, the thing that makes me hate this so much is that they say need an associate photographer. And as Aldrich said, and as you said, Dustin, an associate photographer to me is somebody you work with on a consistent basis. Somebody who maybe you've trained to shoot more like you, to work in your style. Like Jen and I work with an associate photographer, Hannah, who has second shot with us on multiple occasions. She's, led a few weddings for us. Like, we are comfortable using her because she shoots in a style similar to ours, and we've been able to work with her to help her shoot more like us on a wedding day. Because when she shoots her own weddings, guess what? Like, not under our brand, it's very different than when she shoots for us, just like the way she captures things and everything. And so, like, when she's coming in as associate for us, like, it's more fitting with like what our style is and how we want it to be presented. So I agree with Aldrich that it's super weird to just be like blasting out into these Facebook groups, I need an associate photographer. I'd feel much more comfortable with the wording if it was like, I need to hire somebody to shoot for me on this day, not calling them an associate photographer just because of the
Well,
word meanings behind
I
those.
well, I think it is also, to counter your point, it is a word meaning thing. So when they're saying associate photographer, they're immediately saying, "Hey, I'm not farming out a wedding to you that you're going to charge your full rate. This is going to be a wedding that you're going to get paid X, and give me the photos." So I think by saying associate,
You've done that before. You've hired people to shoot for you in a
and
situation
I've
like
shot
that,
for you.
and you've shot for me. I've never once in a situation like that been like, I need an associate photographer. I've been like, I need a lead photographer or something like that. Like, the wording matters. Words have meaning and they matter.
Well, no. So because you didn't tell me I was an associate, I just introduced myself as Steve Van Elk at the wedding.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that ahead of time, of course. I was like,
Like,
just say I'm Steve Van Elk, just more handsome than you've seen online, and you were like, I'm comfortable with that. So,
and then they're like, "Wait, you like bourbon?" And you're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, I'm just gonna be over here drinking bourbon the whole wedding.
and you were like, wink, and then you walked away with, I'm guessing, a Starbucks refresher or something.
Not dragon fruit though.
The dragon fruit one is quite good. I don't know why you don't like it. I don't know why you don't like it.
It's a matter of principle, Stephen.
Yeah, but I mean, by and large, it doesn't matter what the hell they call these people. Yeah, people need people to fill in for them right now for stuff, and this is the way I'm looking at it. If you can add a few weddings to your repertoire throughout the year where you're second shooting or lead shooting for somebody else because they can't do it because of a pandemic thing, as long as it doesn't clash with the date you needed for a wedding, that's cool. The one thing I would say, unless like you were like, I'm getting out of the wedding game completely, I wouldn't be committing to shooting for somebody else as their associate for next July or something like that. Like, I would I would try to keep like those dates available for yourself because you can make a lot more money shooting for yourself. So like, from looking at it from the perspective of somebody who might reply to that, don't reply unless
You can commit.
you're comfortable. Yeah, unless you're comfortable with giving up that date for
If you have
whatever.
commitment issues, don't commit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, if you have commitment issues, don't commit. That's why Dustin and I bailed on the whole accent thing very early on in this, because we can't commit to the bit.
This is my accent, Steve. It is my see. I can't even not do my accent now because you got me doing my accent.
I'm sorry, bud. We're trained professional actors who we flow right into it. It's hard to break out.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your big angsty?
Oh, man, it even feels weird talking about this right now. Dustin, I saved this to tell you on the podcast.
Because heaven forbid, Stephen and I share a friendship outside this podcast.
I wanted you to hear it raw from me, baby.
Finally got that colonoscopy?
Last summer, and you already knew about this, last summer, I shot a video for a couple. I didn't actually shoot it. I was shooting photos for a different couple that same day. But Jen and I had an associate videographer and come in and shoot a video for a wedding for us. Something happened. A card was corrupted or a card was lost, or I'm not 100% certain. We lost all of the footage from the lead photographer from the beginning of the day. Videographer, sorry. From the getting ready up until halfway through the ceremony.
I'm
gone.
getting like nauseous just hearing this story.
Yes. How do you think I felt? The person editing this who realizes this and spirals out of control. So I edit together a video using just footage from the second shooter up until halfway through the ceremony, and then all the footage for the rest of the ceremony. I finish it. Honestly, I look at it and I'm like, this might be one of the best things I've ever edited. Like, I was actually super pleased with how it turned out, but we knew going into it, because we didn't have the lead videographer shooting the bride getting ready, the second videographer was shooting the groom getting ready. So I just cut all the groom getting ready out since we didn't have the bride getting ready, and it felt like that would be And that would be like really weird to include that, you know? So I made some choices like that. And it was like, these are things that would probably be obvious to them if they see the video and they're like, but why wasn't she getting ready too, you know? Or why weren't we both getting ready? We know they shot it. So we sent them a message when we sent them the video and it was just like, hey, this is a rough draft of the video. This is what happened on the day. And here are some ways that we could fix the part. We offered to reshoot the bride getting ready, like hire out the room where she got ready at the venue, bring in hair and makeup for her, and like just completely redo her getting ready. And then we could take the shots of her getting ready, mix it in with him getting ready, and like, you know, fix that segment of the day, basically. Then we also, Jen offered to do like another shoot for them, like a anniversary shoot or a boudoir shoot or like a couple shoot or, you know, anything, just because we felt like super bad about this, because it's like we lost something on their wedding day, you know?
That's why you shoot to 2 cards.
Oh, if only I had Sony cameras mirrorless, I could do that. But yeah, so like that was what we sent out to them, and we also said something about possibly like getting them like a print or an album or something like that as like a gift. And
naming your next child after them.
Yeah, we didn't hear back from them. This was last August when I sent them the video and a message and everything. We didn't hear back from them. I'm actually friends with the groom on Facebook. We went to junior high and high school together. He roomed with my brother-in-law in college. He works, he's like a music teacher in one of the school systems that one of my sisters works in. Like, so like this is somebody that's not just like a random stranger who, you know, met us or whatever. This is somebody I have history with. So I sent him a message on Facebook. I was like, hey, you guys never responded to our email. Just wondering, you know, if you had a chance to view the video and what your thoughts were on how you wanted to proceed. Never hear back from him. So for the last year, I have been a pool of anxiety every time this person's name comes up in conversation. Just absolutely sweating it. You know, every time I think about this, I'm just racked with anxiety. We never hear back from them. So like the way we do our videos is like we send out like we call it like a rough cut, but it's like I edit the entire video together, send it to them, and then if they have notes, I can make changes. If they don't have notes, it's final and they can just keep it. Never hear back from them. So finally, after a year of waiting to hear back from them, I'm like, screw it. I'm sick of feeling this anxiety. I just color correct everything like a second time, like do a second pass on it, re-listen to audio, like readjust my audio levels just a little bit, tweaking here and there. Because I always find like when I do my like initial edit, if I go back like a month or two later, it's like this one shot's actually out. I can fix that real fast, you know? But like when I was originally going through it, like because I'm rushed or whatever, like I don't see it, or because my eyes are so used to staring at the screen. So I go through, I fix all that stuff like I would, like if I'd come back to any project a month or two later, and just upload it all to our Dropbox, send them the link, and I'm like, hey, since we never heard back from you guys, I just went ahead and finalized everything for you. Here you go.
And
he
writes back and he's like, love it. Thanks, Steve.
That is it. That's what happened. We hear back from them and they say it's actually perfect. We're not worried at all about any of the missing footage. And we're so sorry we left you guys on red for the last year. On red is my term. They did not say that. They said, we're so sorry we didn't get back to you. But yeah, we're so sorry we left you guys on red for the last year. Everything's great. a year of me just stressing about this.
Did you write back like, no worries, I developed 5 hemorrhoids and my hair fell out, but other than that, I'm totally cool. Glad you liked the video.
Hey, I've been spiraling out of control. It's all good, don't worry about it.
My wife left me. Don't have children anymore.
Well,
I can only eat oatmeal because my teeth have fallen out.
Yeah, from regret after eating my children. Yes.
Why would you eat your children?
I don't know. You're making up a ridiculous fantasy situation.
But
I was
the children
yes
eating.
I was yes-anding. I'm much bigger than my children. I'm like a giant. Giants eat people. That's a thing, right?
Not their own children, maybe the neighbor's kids.
Yeah, no, I've read Greek mythology. I know how it works. Sometimes you have to eat your kids so that they don't overthrow you or whatever. And then they cut their way out of your stomach and kill you and take over anyway.
So Ian's coming out of your belly later?
Probably. I don't know. Isn't that how Zeus did it?
I
When he
skipped a
overthrew
few
the Titans?
chapters. I skipped a few chapters.
Oh, so that's me, man. Today's
Good.
been like a wild ride because like like getting like that email back from them after a few days and just like having that pit in my stomach when I saw the notification and then reading it and they're like, no, we're cool. I think we're gonna end up doing like an album for free for them or something, just like
So, can I get a free anniversary
8
session?
by 8. No.
I just
You
like,
want to
if
cash in on this for them?
if you have some guilt that you're looking to reconcile with, like I will take a free anniversary session, Steve.
Well, no, because here's the thing. It's flipped, now from just like, oh man, I felt so bad and I had so much anxiety to what the freak, man? You guys left me on red for a whole year just to tell me it's good?
So
I'm angry. No, I'm angry. Now they owe me, Dustin. That's how this works, right?
I lost a card from a wedding video once.
Yeah.
And it was nerve-wracking. Thankfully it wasn't my A cam, like my main shooter. It was it was the whole day we lost from, but it was like our third camera. So
it's mine?
No, he didn't shoot this wedding, but it was the person giving the toasts. So,
Ooh.
Yeah, it was like one angle during the ceremony, a little bit of like extra getting ready stuff, but again, not the main shooter. And it was the person giving the toast. So during the toast shots of the film, you see the reaction of the bride and groom like on that cam. And then we never quite cut to the person giving the toast.
Yeah. Man, that's rough.
Yep.
Some rough stuff. But the client was also cool with it?
Yeah, no. I mean, the only real evident thing was just the toast. And that was like when we had another camera that caught the best man. Mm-hmm. So we had enough of him that we could because we always have one cam that's floating, just getting reactions, and it will cut back to like a wide of the whole toast sequence. But Luke, our shooter that day, he was the DJ at that particular wedding, didn't let us know toasts were happening. So we were already racing in there. So he was getting audio dialed in. And so the cam that was on the sticks, like on the tripod, focused on the toaster. That was the one that we lost that card.
Toast. That card was toast, yeah.
But yeah, so no maid of honor.
Isn't that the worst when you're doing video and the DJ doesn't let you know toasts are about to happen and they just roll into it? And then you're frantically over there holding down the power button trying to get your Zoom H4n to boot
Turn
back
on,
up.
Zoom. Why are you so slow?
Yeah.
What was ironic about it is so we're sitting in this little conference room eating our dinner, and the DJ's like, "Don't worry, guys. I know what it's like to be a photographer, videographer. I will make sure nothing happens without me letting you know first." And then 15 minutes later, we hear from down the hallway, "Let me get a big round of applause for the maid of honor." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, I think he's starting the toast. Race down the hallway.
Had that same situation happen to me a year ago around this time, but luckily it was just the photos for me. So I got 2 photos of the very end of a toast.
Yeah, you can milk that.
Yeah, the videographers at that wedding were friends, and they were just so pissed off. And similar situation, it was a band, and the band guy was like, "Hey, don't worry, we won't start anything until you guys are down there, and I'll send one of the band members back to get you guys before we start anything." We're like, "Cool," because we had all just sat down to eat when they were getting up to leave the room, and then 5 minutes later, everything starts, and we're just WTF.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
good times, good times.
So
So
yeah, what's up? What's next?
Dustin, there has been some controversy online
Controversy.
because a photographer is he's an artiste, and he's been taking photos of strangers' text communications and then, and then printing them and hanging them up for people to see.
Wow.
So his name is Jeff Mervelstein. and, and he literally takes a telephoto lens to a safe distance and shoots people's texts and then posts them.
I'm glad you find this so shockingly irresponsibly funny.
It's so irresponsible. So the reason people are upset is because he's sharing like super personal texts, and like in his photos it's just like the phone in a hand, so it'd be hard to tell, but if you knew it was you, you'd know it was you, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a fun, as somebody who went to art school, it's kind of a fun, I could see how it could be perceived as art. But there is this level of invasion of privacy.
Oh my gosh, like the biggest invasion of privacy.
But is there a level of privacy? Like, is there a standard of privacy that when you're in a public place on your phone that you assume nobody's watching you?
I mean, I think you assume you have some sort of privacy when it's just you looking at your phone on a park bench. So here's like one of the ones he captured. It just says, "You're out of control, young lady. Laughing my ass off. I'm ashamed. It was good though. The stripper texted me," is the next message back. Ah! Like, would you want people to know you were texting about a stripper? Like,
Well, you don't know that it was you. Like, people don't know that it
if
was
you wrote those messages, you know it was you if you see this online. And people who know like what your phone looks like or what your fingers look like and stuff like that, they're gonna know what's going on.
Well, you'd have to know where he took these. I would assume he's not going to the exact same park each time to take these.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems pretty creepy and invasive.
What
And
would be super creepy is if he's doing it like in his apartment complex park, so that it's just only the people inside his immediate living quarters. Versus if he was like traveling the world, going to different public places to document this.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Dustin, would you ever post photos you took of people's text messages?
If it was gallery worthy and I was getting paid for it.
Oh, did you actually click through to the link on Yahoo News that has some of the photos and stuff like that?
I did not.
Okay.
But I can.
They are not gallery worthy. They're like blurry ass like pictures where it's like mostly blue. The like shots, I don't know what's going on, why it's mostly blue, but it's weird. But yeah, no, they talk about how sometimes people are revealing like sexual secrets in these texts and stuff, and it just feels super stalkery and creepy and invasive. And I agree with the people who are saying that about this.
As he does these like kind of blue casts. Yeah,
So,
kind of creepy looking.
yeah. So, Dustin, Airbnb bans parties, which means no more Airbnb weddings. Have you ever done an Airbnb wedding?
No. Nope.
Yeah. Okay.
Not that I can publicly say.
I was just curious. I saw people in some Facebook groups who were upset about this, saying it was going to put a dent in their business for the next year or whatever. And I was just like,
my wedding this weekend was supposed to be getting ready at an Airbnb, and they said their Airbnb canceled on them.
Yeah, I see. That was the thing I was thinking was we don't do Airbnb weddings, but we have had a lot of people getting ready at Airbnbs, and that could be considered a party. And I could definitely see Airbnb just being like, nope, 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 nope.
Yeah, but how do they know? Like when I rent an Airbnb, I hope Airbnb is not listening. But when I rent an Airbnb, I always just put like one guest
Yeah.
because they charge you like extra if you're like per person for like cleaning fees and other things. And so I always just say, it's just me. And then if they always ask, I'm like, oh, I've got friends in town that came over to see me.
Oh, I'm always just like, I just slept in every bed because it's fun. I set an
Yeah.
alarm. I want to make sure I get the most out of every bed, and then I sleep in each one. Um,
And I wet the bed.
So our friends Sarah Casile and Megan McCreevy and Carrie Casile on their podcast, I Don't Give an F Stop, they had a guest on who ran a wedding venue sometime like a year or two ago, year and a half ago. And that person said they actually booked out their venue through Airbnb. And so you could like jump on Airbnb and say, I want to get married here, basically, and book the venue that way. So I know that there's like a function of Airbnb that exists for throwing parties and events.
Yeah, I think they have like Airbnb spaces or something like that for like renting conference rooms, offices, and event style spaces.
Yeah.
But we don't have any located here.
But Fort Wayne doesn't have any cool places people rent out?
I just photographed an Airbnb today because the guy was like, I don't book it enough.
It's so weird to think that people don't want to go to Fort Wayne.
They do, just not this year.
That's so weird to think that people want to go to Fort Wayne other years. Why would anyone want to be in Fort Wayne, period?
Apparently, because I was talking to him a lot about Airbnb because I'd considered doing one because I've talked to other people that have been really successful with it. But he said we get a lot of medical professionals that will come and do like residencies here. And so he'll book out long-term Airbnbs for that. And then surprisingly, I should have known this, but the ballet here in Fort Wayne is like one of the top ones in the state. And so we get a lot of people that come here to train in the summers.
Isn't your wife like a former professional ballet dancer?
Yeah,
How do you not know more about ballet?
Well, she lived here, so I never thought that people actually come from afar to
ballet
to train with them.
You were just like, everyone here is balleting here. Nobody ballets to here.
Right, they're all like from here. No one would like move here for like just the summer.
Okay, well, Dustin, before we do Q&A, I do want to share a quick random rant from a Facebook group that I found I thought you would love. I'd love to just vent if I could, Tyrone from a random Facebook group says, and give y'all a good laugh at my expense. So the wedding I shot a while back where the videographer requested that I call him to be told where to stand, I arrive on the day to find that there were 2 videographers as I was advised. Cool. I can deal with that. Oh, and I was told I had a chaperone who would be assisting me, driving me around and shooting over my shoulder. I saw your face do something. What is this? Did you want to stop for a second to make a comment?
Nope. Continue.
No, you're okay with a chaperone.
I love chaperones.
I mean,
they're like
when
macarons.
I was working with you, you sent a chaperone with me when I was doing photos, and one of your videographers chaperoned me everywhere. So I thought it was nice. I didn't want to drive, and I wanted to be able to drink champagne in the back of the limo. So it was great. It was sweet that you provided a limo too for the photographer to be chaperoned around in. I mean,
sounds
just
like
really
a pop
great
song.
A service. Yeah.
All I wanna do is be chaperone.
So Tyrone continues on and says the video guy and the video guy's minions were hanging around smoking when I got there and cursing left, right, and center. Not fun to listen to as a Christian. But wouldn't have been such a big deal if the couple weren't huge Christians about to start their own ministry. So the videographers, yeah, I know. I see your face, and I also find it hard to deal with the blatant religiosity that is being thrown into this.
Religiosity.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe this person would smoke a cigarette.
Give
So
it to
then
me
he
in a good
says,
Baptist voice.
videographer's minion gets the drone out and shouts at everyone to get out of his shot while flying 75 meters away from the front of the house, so no one could arrive or leave while the drone was up, according to him. Oh yeah, apparently the videographer's minion said that DJI spec'd his Mavic 2 Pro for him because seemingly the only thing it couldn't do was make him coffee. Lying ain't that smart, he says, when you're talking to someone who owns one and also owns a shop that sells them.
I thought you were going to say it also sells coffee.
That would make more sense. Yeah. I actually spec my Mavic Pro 2 out to make coffee.
I just load a K-cup in, and there it comes.
Get real, Dustin. He puts in a coffee kettle and then it pours it over into his pour over that he has going on. So he can just set the drone up to slowly pour into his pour over for him.
Slow drip drone.
Yeah, slow drip drone. Making drip coffee. Ugh, yuck. So he's already starting to get a tad on the upset side of things. And then he goes to greet the boys and get a couple shots of their breakfast and group prayer, etc. before heading up to bridal prep, and it's anarchy. Absolute, utter anarchy. Both videographers have their cameras out, taking photos and posing the bride and her bridesmaids. Only one of them had finished hair and makeup by now. Somehow the rain managed to stay away, and the couple had picked a stunning outdoor spot for their ceremony. The video guy and his videographer minion tried their absolute utmost to get the bride to change her mind and have the ceremony indoors, which would have been legal as there were only 45 guests at the wedding, in a small, cramped hall of the country house they had their prep and outdoor reception in. The reason they tried to change her mind? The drone couldn't fly in the wind at the ceremony location. And Tyrone says there wasn't a breath of wind, though. And he goes on and he says, did he mention that the videographers talked the couple out of a stunning intimate session location on top of a mountain because there was too much mist? So the ceremony happens. Stunning, beautiful, wholesome, and every other adjective you could use. But the video guy flew the drone 20 feet over the guests for the entire duration of the ceremony. Songs, prayers, everything. Then the minion was also in more of the shots than the photographer would care to remember. The video guy and his minion tagged along for the couple session, with the video guy taking photos the whole time they were out there. And now he's been trying to send, him the photographer over the edge because he was either in every one of the shots the photographer took or was trying to get the couple's attention away from the photographer and onto him. Jen just walking through the back of the episode.
Like she produces this or something.
She does. One of the groomsmen actually commented about the videographer's behavior later in the day. To top it all off, the video guy farts, or perhaps even sharts, in front of the couple on their walk back from the early evening intimate session with them. Dustin, was that great? Was that great? Does that sound great to you?
So is Tyrone's the photographer in this story?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Tyrone continues on to say that the video guy has now requested his images from the day so that he can create an album for the couple.
Wow.
Oh, I know we don't do a lot of like ranty stories that we find on the internets, but that was, oh man, that was some stuff, right?
That was. I want to work with that videographer.
Because you feel like you'd mesh with him really well. The two of you would really get along. You'd be like,
yeah,
don't worry, I'll send you over those photos so that you can make that album as soon as you send me over your videos. So I can.
Yeah, I mean, I worked with a videographer a few weeks ago who typically does photo and not video. And I kept catching her accidentally taking photos, forgetting she was there doing video. And I would have to remind her. Like, oh, by the way, don't forget to get a video of that too. She's like, oh yeah, good point. She was like a college student, like just does this for fun kind of thing. And yeah, it was just like, yeah, don't forget to get a video. And her like second camera was like her iPhone, so she was like meshing like a 60D with an iPhone.
That's legitimate. An iPhone is probably better than a 60D. Let's be honest.
That's why I was kind of like, why don't you just shoot on an iPhone all day? But
wow.
Yeah. Curious to see how it comes out. Real curious.
Curious to see how the photos come out that she posts to her Instagram and Facebook and says she captured the wedding for them.
Hey, that's fine. I'm not at a place anymore in my career where I care who gets credit for my weddings. As long as I get paid.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
So what would you have done if you were the photographer in this situation, Steve? What would you have done?
Skeet practice with that Mavic 2 Pro, right?
Yeah.
I assume they're in the mountains, so everybody has a gun. You know,
Oh,
because
remember
of bears.
they talked him out of going to the mountains.
Yeah. But there were mountains around, right? You can't live in mountain country and not own a gun. It's American. It's just American to own a gun. It's also Christian. He mentioned several times they're Christians. They have to own guns if they're Christians. I'm pretty certain that's a law.
Guns.
Yeah.
See, I'm a Christian, and I read my Bible, and I was told that I should just throw rocks. So we just keep a bucket of rocks next to our bed.
Like he was without sin, throw the first stone, and Dustin's just wailing people.
Exactly. That's what I'm here for, Steve.
Jesus said I could.
I got more buckets in the closet. You want to keep coming at me, bro?
Dustin, let's move on to do some Q&A, buddy.
Let's do some Q&A.
But Steve. Butter. Josh Withers from our very own Facebook group. Does anyone know what ISO I should set my Photoshop brushes to? This kind of rainbow. And then I think there's supposed to be a picture, but it's not showing up on my show notes. But needless to say, it's magical.
Yeah, something broke with Google Drive or Google Docs, and it doesn't show photos anymore. It's really bumming me out and pissing me off.
Maybe the photos are stored in their Adobe Cloud account, and when Lightroom got updated,
thank you for waiting until I was drinking the beer to say that. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thanks, bud.
I have great timing, Steve.
Oh,
yeah, all the photos in our show notes are gone.
I know they were there, and then they just like disappeared overnight. It's very frustrating for me, the person who compiles the show notes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Somebody needs to get on this.
Yeah. Dustin, what ISO should you use in Photoshop for your brushes to get a rainbow? So Josh shared this in the Facebook group. I will include a link to it if people want to check it out. But it is it's a fake rainbow. It's a fake rainbow somebody photoshopped into a photo.
Yeah, I've never done that before.
Yeah. You're more like the guy who would possibly use MS Paint to paint a rainbow.
No, I just like.
Should I make that public on the Patreon? that beautiful photo of yours.
Sure. Absolutely.
So Dustin, when you're photoshopping a rainbow in, what ISO do you set your brushes at?
I'm not really sure I'm a Photoshop wizard enough to know what ISO and brushes have in common. Is that might be like an Australian, New Zealand term of measurement for brushes?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've never used Photoshop in my entire life, so I'm basically not a photographer, right?
No, you're not. We've already established that.
Oh, thanks, bud. I don't even know what ISO is. Do you know what ISO is?
In search of? It's an abbreviation.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you so much for that, Dustin. Illuminating things. Um,
Which is what I think Josh was putting. He's in search of what brush allows him to do this.
oh yeah, cool. So I think the point Josh was trying to make is that it looks really tacky and bad when people Photoshop rainbows into things.
No. I think Josh was being sincere and honest and respectful because that's the kind of man he is. And he
As
wants to
somebody
add more
who
happiness
is-
into his photos.
Somebody who's on the Patreon who heard the episode where we went at length discussing Dustin's shopping of lightning bolts and rainbows, and I think is it safe to say that Josh is taking a shot at you personally, Dustin? Is that why you brought this question up in the show?
I thought it was
You're so
Josh's way
angry?
of saying he respects me and agrees with me in my choice to add dramatic elements to my photos from time to time to increase my client's value add for me, just like they would for him as the officiant.
Yeah. Because a lot of celebrants bring that magic rainbow to the ceremony. And I assume Josh did the same thing. Aldrich Mintz DM'd us this amazing Facebook question. This is from Jazz in a random Facebook group, and it says, does anyone know of gloves that can be used with a mouse? My hand gets so cold holding my mouse through the winter. Oh, that question can be found in a random Facebook group that may or may not be connected to Masson Labs.
Oh, my hands
the real
get
winners.
cold.
The real winners.
Maybe turn your heat up in your office, or here's an idea. Steven and I are releasing heated mice. They'll be dropping next year.
The live mice.
They're
You actually
live
plug
mice.
the tail into
There's a
to the
Thunderbolt.
back of your computer.
There's a Thunderbolt cord that goes up the mouse's ass. It's called Apple Anus cord.
Yeah.
3.0.
I mean, apple, anus, they're basically the same thing anyway, right? Hold your tongue and say apple.
Apis.
Tell me what you say.
Apis. And so what it'll have a little bit more fidgetiness, but it helps with your ADD. So don't worry, all the mice will have been treated for rabies at some point, and if not, we'll include a vaccination, which depending on which way you swing, left or right, you may choose to use or not use.
Go straight in the tummy, though. No matter which way you swing, that vaccination, and it's painful. It's very painful.
Yeah, but yeah, coming next year, the wedding photo hangover blue ball mice.
I'm sorry, blue ball?
They still have the balls. They don't have the digital because we're going retro with our design. I haven't sent you the latest specs.
All male mice.
I mean, I'm not going to say that publicly because I don't want to get anybody upset, but it will be blue-balled mice.
Ben from a random Facebook group says, y'all, I'm livid. We had a client cancel their wedding due to COVID, and against my best judgment, we issued them a refund via check and had them sign a cancellation contract stating we fulfilled all obligations and we owed them nothing more in terms of goods, services, or money. Just yesterday, they filed a chargeback through their credit card company for the full amount they paid us. So they've gotten more money from us than they ever paid. We filed an appeal with the credit card company, but the money is already gone from our account, and who knows if the credit card company will actually read our appeal. I've emailed the clients to ask if this was hopefully a mistake, but they aren't responding, so I'm assuming it's malicious. Should we get a lawyer involved?
Man, I'd start by talking to the client,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'd break into their house. I would steal their shit.
I mean, you could do that. I think a lot of times when somebody pays by credit card and then asks for a check back, the best way to actually get their attention is to just send them another check. You know, that's typically the best way to get their attention. So just go ahead, write out another check for the full amount and send that straight through. Maybe going out to Stephen Van Elk in Mills.
Stephen and I actually act as a wedding mediator when it comes to client wedding vendor mediation. So if anybody out there ever needs to mediate a cancellation, just go ahead and send all refund checks through us. We hold it in a holding fund until mediation can take place.
I included this question in the Q&A because anytime somebody pays with a credit card and asks for a check back, you should be incredibly wary of whatever that situation is.
Typically a scam.
Yeah. So as much as, it is, as much as we like to make fun of the questions we get here in this segment, it is sad to say, Ben, you probably just got scammed. And I'm sorry, Ben. But hopefully next time you won't. Hopefully the credit card company.
Was it for a wedding or a family reunion?
Oh, Dustin.
Was all correspondence done through text?
Speaking of which, randomly,
can we talk about the new scam? The new scam?
Today we got this. The new scam is you have somebody shoot your wedding doing video, and then they lose a card, and then you just leave them on red for a year. That's a new scam after they deliver your product. No, we got this message today. It just says, "Hi, I'm so and so. I want to know if you are available to be the photographer for my daughter's birthday party."
You're like, "Yes."
We text back. When is it? September 1, 11 a.m. How much do you charge for 4 hours? I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we say we're not available that day. All the best. Okay. An hour goes by. Hi, I'm so-and-so. I want to know if you are available to be the photographer for my daughter's birthday party.
And you're like, oh, in that case, yes, I am. I'm so glad you checked back in.
I'm so glad we sniffed out your scammy bullshit, and now you're back at it again.
No, the new scam that was going viral today, I already deleted it, or I would read it to you, but it goes something like, "Hey, I'm such and such with XY, with blah 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 delivery. We realized we have a package that never got delivered to you back from February. Mm-hmm. If you could click this link to claim your package, we'll get that right over to you." And I immediately was like, scam, and deleted it. And then I got on Facebook a couple hours ago, and people were commenting on it left and right, saying it's a sex trafficking thing, that when you click the link, it somehow allows them to track your phone using some sort of malware. Malware? No, I don't go to the mall.
Nope, it's not malware.
I am a man. I'm a male.
And you wear things. Got it.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really, I almost was wishing I hadn't deleted the text, because I was going to text them back, and I was going to say, I'm flattered that you think that I would be good at sex trafficking. But I really don't think I would fetch you much value.
Fuck it. Let's just do it. Not everything is sex trafficking, Let's hey photographers out there. It's real. This is Steve, heart to heart.
We're entering heart to heart fart mode.
Yeah. Not every scam, not every bad thing happening online is sex trafficking. And I know that's not a popular thing to say based on what is flooding my Instagram story feed and actual photographers with their real ass posts, not even like their story posts, but like photographers posting about how everyone's being sex trafficked, and there's hundreds of millions of people a year being sex trafficked, and it's a real problem. And when you share fake information about it, it doesn't help the problem. Wayfair is not sex trafficking children.
Oh, they're not?
They're not. Oh,
So I need to
gosh.
return those throw pillows?
Well, you should have returned those anyway. Wait,
Oh.
what? Wait, what?
Sorry.
Oh, gosh. Man, this is killing me. This is killing me. How many people are getting online and talking about how they just found out about all the terrible things happening sex trafficking wise, and then they just list a bunch of bullshit conspiracy theories that go back to like Pizzagate and QAnon and stuff, and it's like none of these things are real that you guys are listed.
Wait, Steven.
So angry.
Do you want to talk about Pizzagate? Because I'm kind of hungry, and
it's an entire gate made out of pizza, Dustin. I mean, can't you see how that would be used for sex trafficking? Kids love pizza. How are they going to turn down a gate full of pizza?
Are there mouses?
Coming right up and eating that pizza.
Playing guitars? Is his name Chucky?
Oh, I'm losing my mind. The closer we get to this election, don't vote for Donald Trump. He's a worthless piece of shit. The more of this weird conspiracy theory stuff I am seeing online, and the more people I know who are getting like sucked down these crazy ass rabbit holes, where it's just like if you did 5 seconds, took 5 seconds out of your life, just type in whatever the new conspiracy theory is that you see, flat earth, scam, or hoax, and you will get reputable sites saying this is not true. We know the earth is not flat, but people can't even take like the 5 seconds because they're like, I knew the earth was flat. I knew it all along. So this random meme I saw on Instagram is all I need to know, and I'm going to share that with everybody on my business photography page. And you're like, what is happening right now? What is going? Oh gosh, it's just like 4 years ago. It's just like 4 years ago. It nothing has changed. Nothing is better. It is all terrible again. Don't vote for Donald Trump.
Yes.
Cast your vote against him. No?
I think Donald Trump's going to win. I think he's going to win. Because here's why.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wedding Photo Hangover podcast. If you love the show, it's breaking me inside. Please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you want to connect, we're at Wedding Photo Hangover on Instagram. Dustin is at Dustin_McKibben. And I'm at Stephen Van Elk. We have an awesome Facebook group you should join. Just search for Wedding Hangover. And don't bring any of your bullshit conspiracy theories with you when you come. If you want more content, head over to the Patreon by going to patreon.com/WPH. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Your head is pounding, your limbs feel like dead weight, and your entire being aches for the sweet embrace of death. That's right. Next week after you shoot another wedding. If we're going to talk politics, if we're going to talk politics, if that's what you want to do, Dustin, I just want to say here in the wedding industry, there's one politician who could have, in a very big way, stepped up to keep this coronavirus from wrecking our industry. And that politician did shit to help us out. In fact, that politician originally told people like the coronavirus didn't exist, coronavirus was a hoax, we didn't have to wear masks, every step of the way, that politician has worked to make our lives worse, possibly kill us, possibly, keep our country from, bouncing back in a real and meaningful way. So if you care at all about, working as a wedding photographer, it's very simple. Don't vote for Donald Trump. he doesn't give a shit about you, about the country, about anyone. And voting for him is like saying, I would like to stay in this weird limbo state where people just cancel on me, reschedule to another day, and I'm expected to just be okay with that because there's a global pandemic, except it's barely a global pandemic anymore. It's more like a U.S. pandemic, and the rest of the globe is mostly getting their shit under control. I mean, there's places like what Brazil. There are other places struggling, but like most of the places that were struggling back when the U.S. got hit have gotten to a point where they're not in the thousands of deaths every single day anymore. We are not there. We are still in the thousands of deaths. So vote this terrible piece of shit out of office. If we're talking politics, that's just all I'm gonna say.
So what I was gonna allude to, which this has been peppering my social media over the last week or so, because I have friends who will write things like, I don't understand how there's even a choice in this election with Donald Trump. And people will write that, well, let me back that up. People are writing
back it up.
We live in Indiana. It's Fort Wayne. That's a very Christian-oriented community, and people will write, I don't understand how you can be Christian and vote for Donald Trump. And people will share these biblical messages about how, some of Jesus's best disciples and best servants were all like the worst sinners. And so I think we're seeing this messaging go out there that is somehow justifying Trump as a saint.
Jesus' best disciples were sinners before they met Jesus. No, but you weren't supposed to be like them in the before times. You're supposed to be like them in the after times. Who are these terrible people? Let's put Fort Wayne on blast tonight. Read off those names. Let's go. Was it you, Dustin? Did you say these terrible things? Was it your best buddy, Luke McBride? Who else do people know in Fort Wayne?
Those are your only two people you know.
Was it Taylor Ford? We've talked about her on the podcast before. Was it Luke's wife?
No. But no, it was just fascinating to me that like the rationale that people are taking for someone like that. Someone who's like, that's the thing I struggle the most with him, is like, all politics aside, like, he's literally a terrible human being.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not to say Joe Biden is a saint.
When it comes down to it, if you have to vote and it's like between a turd and a shit sandwich, to go with the South Park reference, only one of those things is something you're going to put in your mouth, right? The shit sandwich. So I would go with the turd every time. Like there's clearly one that's worse than the other. So go with the one that's not as bad for your mouth.
I mean, regardless, you can brush your teeth after. One might have some orange flavor.
Oh, Dustin.
Both have a pretty limited expiration.
No, let's get out of this. So what it good? Just tell me something good.
In related news, I started season 5 of Lucifer on Netflix.
Related news that Donald Trump started a season 5 of a show about the devil. Okay, got it.
I wondered if it would have any current related stuff in it, and it did not. But it was pretty disappointing.
You're just watching Nightclub Devil Be Handsome?
That's pretty much, and it was because it's like now on Netflix, like through Netflix. It was like a 5-episode season kind of thing.
But the episodes were longer and packed a bigger punch.
Not really.
Oh, that's sad. Oh, that's real sad. You know what you should be watching on Netflix? Teenage Bounty Hunters.
I saw the preview for that, and I was like, this is something Steve would watch.
It is so good. It is so good. It does so it's set in Atlanta, and it's basically they spend a lot of time making fun of a lot of Christian stuff that I grew up with.
Really?
So it very much appeals to me because of that. Yeah. So but also it's really good writing. It's a lot of fun. It got some serious like Buffy vibes to it that I very much enjoy. And it's really funny, dude. I've been laughing so much while watching the show.
I want to watch the new season of Umbrella Academy.
Oh yeah, so like Jen and I are watching Teenage Bounty Hunters together. Like it's our show we're doing together. And then I'm watching Umbrella Academy season 2 alone, and that is it's pretty good so far. I mean, I don't know how it'll turn out. I don't know if it'll be as good as season 1. I'm just hoping, it's not as bad as Westworld season 2, or Westworld season 3 for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. It's a show that I want to be able to focus on more. So I've been trying to get caught up on work. Work has been just insane. Most wedding photographers are sweating bullets, and I'm over here having like my best year ever.
Because of real estate, not because of weddings.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you even have time to talk to me right now? Because
don't.
real estate stuff,
Honestly,
when I
don't have time to talk to you.
when
but
I went with you to like see what a day was like in the life of Dustin McKibben, it was crazy balls working from like 8 o'clock in the morning until like 6 p.m. at night, and then you had to go home and edit all those photos. And I was like, and you also have to answer like all your emails and texts for your wedding business on top of that. And it's just like, you gotta pick one, Dustin. You gotta pick one, because this cannot keep going for very much longer. It's way too much work.
Yeah, I'm not sure how sustainable my current lifestyle is. That I am aware of it. I am it got really bad the last few weeks when family members were like approaching me, and they're like saying like, Dustin, you might want to think about a change.
Family members were approaching you and they're like, look, we're not saying this is an intervention, but we all really care about you. And if you would just sit down over there and have some punch, we would like to express our feelings to you.
There's a banner. We made a banner. No, it's just like there's just like a lot of things going on that I wouldn't be able to go to because I've been just so busy, or I've been missing out on a lot of, not like monumental kid stuff, but just simple stuff like going, on walks. I'd go outside with the kids, and then I'd have to run back inside because some realtor wanted, some tweak or change or
boundaries, Dustin. You got to establish
I
boundaries.
know. So that's what I'm working on. I'm working on that. But those are things you can really enforce.
Is there a market for like an editing company where it's like you shoot the photos, you send it off to the editing company, and then you just say to the realtor, here's your number with my editing company. If you have tweaks, you contact them. As far as I'm concerned, this relationship is over until the next time you need a shoot from me.
I mean, as far as tweaks go, that's far and few between. I mean, most realtors, they're so busy and houses are selling so fast that they could really care less. Typically, if there's a tweak, it's not coming from a realtor. It's coming from a homeowner that's being like super OCD and overly personal about their house.
I know that when you shot the house, we did have all the lawn gnomes who were pooping in the garden, and that is something that we specifically put in the garden because we loved it. But if you could go through and Photoshop all 69 of them from the garden, that would be great, because we don't think that's going to help us sell to the right client. Is that the kind of request you're getting?
No, not quite the request. Typically, it's
because you would have just bought that house. You'd have been like, don't even worry about it. I'm actually buying your house.
No, like I had a house last week where half the house was in shade, half the house was in sun. because they had like a big shade tree, and I shot it real early in the morning, so it was getting split light. I shot it, boosted the shadows on the shade side when I edited it, sent the photos off. I edited it super fast, really wasn't paying attention to things like color, consistency, because it's a house. And the homeowner got it back after looking at it when it went live and was like, hey, so like half my house looks gray and half my house looks blue. It's totally gray. What's going on here? And I'm like, oh, when I boosted those shadows, it must have, been still color correcting for the sunlit side.
Have you seen, just like 2 days ago, a team of computer scientists from Google, MIT, and the University of California, Berkeley, created an impressive AI-powered shadow removal tool that can realistically remove harsh shadows from portraits while leaving natural shadows intact. Just you talking about this made me think about this thing that I saw but didn't put in our show notes because it didn't seem super important at the time. But now that I think about it, we probably should have talked about this in the real show because think about that. Think about that anytime you've like set up a family shot and accidentally like maybe positioned them under a tree the wrong way, and then there was like dappled light on their face as it shined through the leaves overhead.
Mm-hmm. Or you just have
say.
You're trying to shoot in shade and you have like a 17-person bridal party, and trying to condense 17 people into this little pocket of shade during noon is just impossible.
Yeah. That's another piece of shitty feedback I got about the iPhone thing was, but how does it do in direct sunlight? And it's like, it does fine. It's got like HDR, like AI powered technology. It probably does better than your shitty mirrorless camera.
Your shitty Canon 1D X Mark III.
Yeah, it's better than that. Buy an iPhone, you piece of trash.
Have you seen how big the display is on it? It's huge.
Oh, sorry. So the AI could remove those harsh shadows from your faces or your houses. Yeah. No. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. No.
No, I only have.
Would
really
you invest in something like that?
No, but I have one realtor who's just like super picky about edits.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's fine.
Does he send you a lot of work, or can you fire him?
A good amount of work. Normally it's fine, but it's gotten to the point where he or she will be like, hey, did you happen to get a photo of this? And I just write back, I gave you everything I photographed. And they're like, okay, thanks. I'm like,
I didn't see a photo of each one of the 69 lawn gnomes pooping in the garden that we had discussed. I only saw 68. I sent you everything I had, Mitchell.
I just love that Mitchell thinks that I am like holding back. Like, no, there was this really good angle of this one room that I just thought was too good to give to you, that I thought I'd wait till closer to the house sales, then send it to you and be like, oh, sorry, here's this house.
Mitchell is passive aggressively telling you you're not doing a good enough job. That's what Mitchell is doing, and you know
I'm like,
it.
Mitchell, if you want to find somebody else that works and operates at the level of skill I'm at, please feel free.
Go for it, bud. I'm out. I'm Audi 500.
Mitchell, I am already shooting way more houses than I can handle.
Peace. You need to get some associates. Go to a random Facebook group and just post looking for associate photographer for real estate. Oh, no. Please send a link to your website.
Yeah, we'll see. There's rumors, there's whispers that my wife may stop working next year. So we'll see what that looks like.
Ooh, so you might need to step it up in a big way in the real estate game.
Yep.
Maybe move down to Indy, huh?
Maybe get my real estate license.
Oh, yuck. Why would you do that?
Real estate photography license.
I don't think that's a thing, bud.
No, it's not a thing, but I'd love to make it a thing. Can we make that a thing? Can we start a real estate photography licensing course? And acquire
sure.
it in the state of Indiana. Can you call Big Daddy Pence and put in a word?
Yeah, no. I was just telling somebody that Jen and I, for like the last 10 years or so, have shot like 1 or 2 weddings a year at the church Big Daddy Pence went to when he lived in Columbus, Indiana.
Yeah.
I don't know what church he went to when he was governor in Indy, but I'm sure we've shot there multiple times too.
Just say, hey, Pensy baby. There's been a real decline in quality in real estate photography, and I think we need to hold Indiana photographers to a higher standard when it comes to representing the homes and the home values of Indiana.
The Christian home values.
Yep.
He doesn't care about the non-Christian ones.
Exactly.
I'm playing to him, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I want to start the first Pence
the straight white
license.
male Pence real estate license. No women in the room with you alone.
Yep.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I think we can swing it.
.gov.
Wow. So now that we've made a lot of political statements in this episode, more than any other episode before, I think it's time to call it quits.
Yep.
Good night, Dustin.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Wedding Photo Hangover was edited this week by Steve Van Elk of Bespoke Tone. Go to Bespoke Tone for all of your photo, video, and audio editing needs.